guaranteed way to not get rich is to work for the government. If you're an employee for a great entrepreneur, you could probably make more money than being an entrepreneur yourself. And what you do, who you do it with, and where you live are three most important decisions in your life. If you're in a job, you're not really applying money as leverage, you're applying energy as leverage. Man, fuck this. My life, most people wouldn't want to have. I went from zero in one of my businesses to $6 million. You're solving an expensive problem with a very cheap tool. So the margin is insane. Bitcoin's entire network value is like 2.2 billion, right? AI is generating about 2.4 to 4.4 billion every year. These are just going to radically change how business is done. So most job roles that exist now are not going to exist in 2 to 3 years. So a lot of people are going to be made redundant.
In 2025, we had investors from this very community invest millions into real estate all over the world, especially in Dubai. We are here to help investors continue to build global wealth. So if that's you, book a free consultation using the link in the description box. Welcome to the Building Wealth Without Borders podcast with me, Lámidé Elizabeth, where I'll be bringing you guests from around the world to share their strategies on building wealth. And today we are in Dubai, recording at the PEN By Marina Pearl with the founder of AI Acquisition, ex-corporate employee turned multi-millionaire, Jordan Lee. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself? Say a little bit more about yourself for people who may not know who you are.
Yeah, so Jordan Lee, I am from the UK, up north, which no one knows where I'm from, so I leave that out. But last year, I went from zero in one of my businesses to $6 million a month without funding, without any tech skills really, leveraging AI. And I think right now we are at a massive turning point in today's economy because of AI. And for most people, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And what we do is we help people be on the right side of the line to make money with AI, even if you're non-technical, even if you don't have a big trust fund, and even if you're not super smart like our host here today, you can still make money.
Okay, well, that's the reason why I'm super excited to get into this conversation, because I do love getting people from very different backgrounds. And I think you might even be our first proper northerner. I don't think we've had a proper northerner here. And I think it's
You might
good.
regret it. No more northerners.
So I love it. Especially you've also come from a recruiting background as well. And even just the whole AI stuff, I think that if anyone is trying to build wealth in this day and age, AI just keeps coming up. So it's just good to have someone who's like an AI expert. So before we get into all of that stuff, I always like to understand a bit more about how our guests grew up, especially in relation to money and wealth. So take us back to Newcastle or wherever it is.
Newcastle-ish.
Newcastle-ish. Tell us a little bit about how you grew up.
I watched your video, so it's similar to you. I grew up with a lot of love, but also without a lot of money, right? And in the northeast of England, that's very normal. I didn't get chosen to go to a private school. So I didn't know money really existed until I was 14, 15, 16. You start seeing nicer cars when you start going a little bit further afield. The richest person I knew growing up was my friend's dad, who had a private registration plate. He made 40,000 a year. That was rich to us. It's I had no conception of money and wealth at all. And to be fair, it wasn't that important in my childhood at all. And even I think now, kids are obsessed with Balenciaga and stuff like that. I'm very thankful that we didn't have that growing up. You were just happy with a pair of Predators and Nike shoes to play football in. So it wasn't a huge thing, money, but I always just had a desire for, I would say, more life, right? And of course, as you get older, you recognize if you want to experience more life, money is a key component of that. So when I was 16, I did pretty well in grades, but I wasn't super gifted. I wasn't dumb. I was probably middle of the road who just applied himself a little bit better. Probably a bit more logical than most people. I think passing exams is not learning. So I think you can just learn how to pass exams. So my exams were A's, but I wasn't great at those subjects. I just understood how to pass the exams. So I think I saw school as not very valuable, to be honest, because I was just okay, well, I'm not learning. I'm just actually getting the outcome. I saw getting the outcome as being valuable. So I was asked to go to university, but I was my parents didn't really have the money to send me to university. I didn't want to put more pressure on them. So I left school at 16. I went to work in a Nissan factory for $800 £5 a month, something like that was like the paycheck. It was like a management apprenticeship. It was a load of rubbish, really, to be fair. So it's just like working in a factory at 16. I was working like day shift and late
16?
shift. Yeah, 16, yeah. I used to walk, get picked up from someone. Like, used to walk like 20 minutes at like 5 o'clock in the morning when it was like snowing, get picked up, driven to work. And they used to pay for me a taxi home when I was on like late shift because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I was like still under 18. So they had some like duty of care to do that. So yeah, I did that when I was like 16 and I worked like another job in a nightclub as well. So I was working like 2 jobs, 80 hours a week from when I was like 16 just to make money, but figured out like, oh, actually, if you work, you can make money.
Okay.
I met people in nightclubs. So in Newcastle, nightlife is a big scene, right? Like nightclubs is fun in Newcastle. So I got involved in that when I was like 17. I got like headhunted by a guy when I was on a night out. I shouldn't have been on a night out. He was like, oh, come work for me at this nightclub. I was like, I've just turned 17. He was like, don't worry about that. So I went to work for a nightclub, ended up getting fired from the nightclub because I was underage. They were like, you shouldn't even be allowed in here, never mind working here. I was like, good point. But then I ended up going into nightlife for a little bit. That taught me a lot. And there's a lot of people who've done very well from Newcastle who have a bit of a foundation in nightlife.
Oh, wow.
So that taught me like social engagement, teaches you a bit about like Facebook, people, running very small P&L. So I launched my own like event. So that was a really good experience. I met some really great people and probably like my first mentor during that time. He helped me become, I would say, like a young adult from a kid. And then went in recruitment for a little bit because I recognized, like this nightlife, well, actually the nightclub that I was like running and working in, someone got shot with a shotgun.
Oh my God.
One of the door staff. So I was like, my mum was like, you know what it is? I probably don't think that this is great. I was like, good point. So stopped that, went into recruitment, had some insecurities about not having any qualifications. Was like, let me study an online business degree. Recognize yet again, this is bullshit. So I'm not a huge advocate of like the traditional education system. For some people, I do believe it's very good for others, to be fair. But it was definitely not for me. So I did that for a year. I did a year in recruitment. I was fortunate enough to meet an Irish entrepreneur who'd built and sold multiple businesses. I went to work for him for like 5 years. Worked my ass off for 5 years, learning everything. Worked from like a low-level sales rep to the managing director. Worked on some super big projects across the globe and in the UK. We ran like the UK census. We worked with the Adecco Group, the Office for National Statistics, Microsoft, Jaguar Land Rover. So I got the opportunity to work in like very high-level business in my early 20s, like leading multi-million-dollar projects. So I kind of learned a lot through experiential learning rather than like being a bookworm. But then in parallel, I was doing a lot of self and personal growth to do that as well. And that was just before then I set up my business.
That's so interesting. At which point did you transition to London? Is it the HR job?
Yeah, when I met the Irish entrepreneur. So I think I just turned 21 at the time.
Where did you meet him?
I met him through like a business connection. So it was like, I know this guy. He's from Ireland. He's in London. We should go meet him. I was thinking about setting up a business at the time. It's like, we could go meet this guy. He could be a client. He owns a big tech company. And then he's like, his personality is larger than life. He was like, look, you can do that, but why don't you come on board with me? I'll mentor you over the next few years and help you grow and develop. He stuck to his word and I had a great time. I didn't earn a lot of money there, but the experience that I gained during that time enabled me to do what I've been able to do in this chapter.
What impact did moving to London like have on the trajectory of your life? Because I'm a big pusher of like, sometimes you really just need to change your environment. Yeah,
I would 100% agree. I was fortunate because I don't speak to anyone who I went to school with. And that's not me being arrogant. We're just completely different people. They still all hang around together. Like my parents still see them more than I do because they'll go at like family parties and stuff like that. But I think changing friendship groups, changing environment, changing what you do are massive things. Naval Ravikant talks about that. You know, what you do, who you do it with, and where you live are 3 most important decisions in your life. And people don't think about that very well. Moving to London took me out of like a small town mentality.
Yeah.
But it also removed me from a lot of BS, even with like going to like, you know, like family events or like, can you just like pick your uncle up from the airport? And it's like, no, like I want to like build. So I just got out of a load of bullshit and I really dialed in London. And actually when COVID happened, the world stopped. I was in London. I was like, I actually have no friends in London. It was weird because I was just like building and working. I was traveling a lot. So I didn't recognize that I hadn't even built a new friendship group. So London actually allowed me to like super dial in on my craft. I actually stopped drinking alcohol when I was like 23. That was a good decision.
You still don't drink now?
No, I haven't drunk for years. Yeah, I'm 30 now. It's like 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see how that would make a massive, massive difference. At what point did you realize like there is like huge amounts of wealth out there? So obviously you didn't grow up seeing it, but when did it change?
I went to California for the first time and I just seen like loads of yachts and houses like built into cliffs. And it wasn't like one or two, there was loads. And I was like, fuck, there's so much money in the world. Like, what am I doing? So that was probably when I was like 23 or something. And of course you got like Instagram, you see like Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces. I had a background on my screensaver of like my phone being like, obsessed is a word used by the lazy to describe the dedicated. With like a Rolls Royce in like a garage. Like I had like that as like a screensaver for years. So you know it's there, but like actually feeling it was probably being in California. Because like even in London, like it's there, but like the wealth is a lot more hidden. Does that make sense? Like you see a nice car, but it's just like, okay, well, it's a nice car. I don't really know. But like California, you could really see it.
I've never been, you know. I think I should go. Yeah. At what
it's
point?
Beautiful. Like I know there's a lot of like politically, there's a lot of people say like, oh, it's good, it's bad now and stuff like that. But you can see why people absolutely love it there, especially like by like Dana Point, San Diego, stuff like that. Beautiful.
Need to go. At what point in your journey did you decide that you wanted to like escape the 9-to-5 and like go into entrepreneurship?
It's interesting because I never seen like a job as a 9-to-5. Like I think that is when I do something, and we spoke about this like a little bit offline, like I'm like all in on what I do. So when I was working for people, I never treated it like it was just a 9-to-5. I treated it like it was my own business because I was the one growing. So I think you like, you have the opportunity and like, your value is yourself almost in everything. Like the biggest risk to my business is me not doing the business. So it's like a lot of people think success is subjective. It's exterior. It's like a 9-to-5. And yes, entrepreneurship and investing is a way better vehicle for 99% of people than being an employee. The only caveat to that is if you're an employee for a great entrepreneur, you could probably make more money than being an entrepreneur yourself if you're not very good. It's like, I think it's very good being around good people who are driven, who know and have done way more than you. Like my last mentor is the same age as my dad. So it's like, he just had years that I didn't have. And like, I remember speaking to him and I used to get like a bit almost like envious of his insights compared to mine. He was like, yeah, but Jordan, like I'm like 60, you're 20. So he's like, you can't get jealous of my insights, but expect to have like your body and me have like my old body. So I was like, yeah, like experience is expensive because it's so valuable. So I think that like I've always been driven for more. And as you gain more data sets, you recognize that, okay, well, everyone who I now know who's rich and has money, most of them haven't done it working for someone else. Like, in the UK, I know this is different in like Africa and stuff like that, but like guaranteed way to not get rich is to work for the government. Yeah, like loads of people go and work for the government. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. Like NHS or whatever. Like it's the vehicle that you apply your knowledge and yourself to really matters as to how much money you're going to make.
Yeah,
so I love that you said that you didn't see your corporate job as just a 9-to-5. You saw it as your business. You think that's what made you like go from, you know, all the way up to like, was it managing director you said in 5 years?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like the world rewards value. If you stop putting out value, people stop watching your show, right? For sure. So I think that if you like want to be successful, if you just provide value, good entrepreneurs, good leaders can see that and they want to pay for that. Like money attracts talent and talent attracts money. So if you are talented, you will attract money if you bring that talent. If you have money, all you're thinking about is bringing in good talent because you know how much value that good talent is worth.
So if someone's working a 9-to-5 right now, would you say to do what you did and like treat it like your own business and try to grow as much as possible? Or would you say, what about the people who are like, actually, I just need this job to sort of like sustain me, but I want to have like a side hustle on the side?
Yeah, it was very different because I was working directly with an owner who was a multi-millionaire and I was going to like stay and live in his mansion a lot of the time. So it's like I was still applying a good vehicle. Like, I don't think it's wise if you're like working on a checkout at Tesco, right? And like, those are gone now with computers, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, if it's not a high leverage vehicle, then don't do it. And also, if it's not what you want to do, then don't do it. I think you have to look at like, where am I now? Where do I want to be? What needs to happen or change to get me to where I want to be? If I keep doing what I'm doing now, am I going to get to where I want to be? For most people, the answer is no, yet they don't make any significant changes. So for me, I would rather swing big and miss than not take the swing, because most people have a fear around doing things and getting things wrong. I don't have that fear. I have a fear around not doing things, because if you don't do things, the answer is always going to be no, which is slightly different when it comes to investing, because like the number one rule in investing is don't lose money, right? In entrepreneurship, you actually can't be paralyzed by analysis. You just have to take as much massive action as you can. And I like to look up to people who are way more successful than I am, who I don't have access to, like Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos. The bets, the goals, and the action that they take are far superior than 99.99999% of entrepreneurs, not even people in the world, because they're willing to take these big goals and take huge action today to get them close at the goals. And you apply energy and you apply money. Like, that's what I love about entrepreneurship over anything else. Like, if you're in a job, you're not really applying money as leverage. You're applying energy as leverage, your own energy. So like, eventually, and you're from a banking background, like, yes, if you extrapolate your life 20 years ahead, you will be a millionaire for sure, but you're going to be very burnt out. You will have given your life to investment banking. I was actually at my ex-girlfriend's sister's wedding, and her husband was a partner at Deutsche Bank, and on his wedding day, he was like doing a transaction and he was like stressed. And I was like, man, like, fuck this, like all the money, and you're in bits. And I was just like, I didn't see that as the answer either, but I would prefer that than being broke. I'll be real. Like, I prefer the pressure and the stress, because like, life is hard. If you're rich, you're going to have pressure. You're going to have people coming after you. You're going to have people taking what you have, wanting to take what you have. But also, like, the other side of it, like, I remember, like, when I first got a car, and I put like my card in the machine to get like petrol out. It was £99, and I didn't have like £99 in the bank account. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is not a good situation either. So I'd rather the hard side of business than the hard side of life.
Fair. When did you transition? You were managing director at this company. When did you decide that you wanted to do your own thing? What was like day one?
It was about 4 years ago. So I was like, it wasn't just about the money, it was about the freedom. So I was like, okay, like, if I continue to do what I do and I want to make more money, like, I'm just going to have to continue to work harder. And I was a small equity owner of the business as well. So like, the plan was to build and sell, but like, you know what it's like selling a business. There's never like exact timelines. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? So I wasn't in the level of control of my life which I wanted to be at the time. So I was like, look, I'm just going to set up. I left the job. I did close a client beforehand, to be fair. And people think like starting a business is high risk. It's not, right? You can actually get content, buy a course, buy some consulting. I bought into like a course from a Canadian guy, actually. It was like 10K. I put it on a credit card. So I was like, okay, at least this will give me a little bit of a structure and some mentorship to build a business. And then I just went through that, and I was like, okay, well, let me just try and sign a client. I had someone within my network who I'd been doing business within this business. I was like, I'm thinking about going out by myself. This is what I want to do. Are you interested? The guy was like, yeah. So I spent the whole day at his office, mapped it out. He was like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead. After that, I just handed in my notice, which was actually probably the hardest thing, because there was such an emotional connection between me and my mentor. It was actually like breaking up with someone. Does that make sense? Because we'd been through so much together. Like, he'd help, like, he spoke about this publicly, so I'm not sharing anything that he wouldn't be comfortable me sharing. But during the journey of our friendship, his daughter passed away. She has cystic fibrosis, and she was pregnant at the time. So like, he went through like a really big loss in his life, and she was like the love of his life, his daughter. And, you know, I kind of stepped up in the business side for him. He helped me through a lot of like personal challenges when I had loss of family members, when I was growing as a young man. And so that was hard. That was hard leaving that, because I wasn't leaving a shit situation. Like, if you're in a shit situation, it's so easy. Like, that's what I say. Like, if you got nothing and you're not happy, then there's no risk. For me, like, I was walking away from a multi-million-dollar payout and someone who I loved working with, and a job that I was like, is living in a nice apartment in London. Like, I was still like living a good life, but it wasn't the great life. So I think if you want to live like top 0.001% or even top 1%, you have to be willing to take those risks, right? So I left the good for the great, and, you know, I set up, I was working from my laptop at a kitchen table. I actually had to move out of London. So I was like, I don't know if I can afford this apartment. And it was, I started literally just out by myself, signed a couple of clients, hired a VA. I was like, okay, I need to learn more about marketing, because if I really want to help these businesses, I know that I need marketing expertise. So I put in the group that I was in, like, anyone in London. Some guy was like, oh, I'm in London. I was like, do you want to meet for dinner? Met him for dinner. Fast forward on, he ends up becoming my business partner. And we went from, like, first year, like, my goals, I do a lot of journaling, like, just like planning out. And I remember sitting in like a Costa coffee shop and sending Stacey, my wife, the photo of like, I want to make like 200K this year. Like, that was the goal for the business, like year one. By the end of year one, we were making over 200K per month.
Wow.
So that showed me, but I think that could show anyone how much you undervalue your own ability when you apply yourself. And then the year after that, we got like 500,000. Then we scaled up to like 1 million. And then this year we launched a new product, and we went from like, the product was brand new at the beginning of the year. We launched in like Feb, and we took that to like, I think we got to like over $6 million a month by November. So we scaled up quick, but we are aggressive.
If you're watching this right now, it's likely that this year is one of those years where you want to turn one of your one-day goals into day one. And for a lot of you, that's going to look like finally getting something online. So whether that is a business, a brand, or some sort of idea that you want to turn into reality. And that is where Hostinger comes in. They are an all-in-one AI-powered platform that allows you to launch a website, a portfolio, a store in minutes without needing any technical skills and with no extra hidden costs. Their business plan gives you everything you need to build a premium site. And if you choose the 48-month plan, you get a free domain, 2 months free, and you lock in a much lower monthly price, around £2.99 with the New Year's sale. You can also get an extra 10% off using the code BuildWealth. So head to hostinger.com/buildwealth and use the code BuildWealth to secure your extra discount. It's time to turn your ideas into execution. That is, there's so much to dive into. You know, because you came from this place up north, why was, when you had this like 6-figure job, nice apartment or whatever, why did that not feel like enough? Because a lot of people will look at where they have come from, and if it is even like, you know, a couple, if they've entered a different price tax bracket, for them it's like, okay, cool, like I've done better, this is good, and they sort of stop there. So what was it for you that made you want to just keep going, looking for more?
Great question. I want to answer this like super honestly, not like a BS answer. Because I'm still there now. And like, I know my son was born actually a month ago today.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Yeah. So when he was born, I thought that, you know, for years, not just that money would solve the problem, but like that the money would give you like security, right? And I think that's what investments are great for, not just active income. It does give you, you know, security where it is way more passive than an active business. But when Ocean was born, that's my son's name, I recognize it's actually like, he's not going to think, I was actually laughing because when we left the hospital, we went to like a retreat thing for my wife, which was amazing, to be fair. Like, that's the nice stuff that money can buy. But it's like, first ride in the car was in a Rolls Royce, right? He doesn't remember that, and he doesn't give a shit, right? He's not going to care. So like, he's not going to care what his dad has or what his dad like really built. He's going to care about who his dad is, who he is as a character. So I think that when I look at like who I want to be as role model for my son, which you are as a parent, and also when you lead and run a business, you're a leader within a business. I think it's less about like what you've done in the past and it's about who you are today. So I don't really look at it like an end goal. I'm looking at it as like, oh, like this is where I am. This is the chips that I have today. Like what am I going to do today? Like who am I going to be today? So even now, I want to go to the next level, but it's not like, oh, I want to go to the next level because I want to buy a new car or I move into a bigger house. Like, I don't want that. I want to like build me. And I'm very, very aware that life is very situational. There's people who have way more money than me, who are way smarter than me, who work way harder than me, who lost everything. So like I also don't judge myself on like, oh, like I have these things, I'm now better than who I was back then. So I think that enables me to take more risks and be more aggressive because I'm not judging myself on the outcome of what I've achieved. I'm judging myself on, not even judging myself, I'm observing, okay, like who am I today? What am I doing today? It's like part of my reflections coming into 2026 was looking at those invisible barriers that I had in my life. And I recognized that still part of me, and I want to share this because when I put it out there, like the fear starts to leave. Like I definitely, because I work so hard for success, and I was thinking about this on the way here actually. Like imagine if your stock portfolio went to zero and you've built a whole brand in your whole life on being a good investor. But not only that, people who you've I know you don't give like much financial advice, but I like, let's just say all the people who you've helped educate, you were part of making their stock go to zero as well, right? You're not going to feel great about yourself, right? Or like you're going to be like, wow, like I failed, right? That's the first thing. You're like, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
I built my whole life around this and it's went to zero. It could even be negative, right? If you're doing leverage trading. That's why, when crypto just dropped, some people killed themselves because they were leverage trading and they were helping other people do leverage trading. So they were like fucked, right? Properly like done. And their mind can't even fathom that loss. So I think one of the big things for me is looking at the things that are holding you back. And one of the things for me was a fear of failing publicly. But I'm like, okay, well, if I want to achieve what I want to achieve and be a good role model, will I want my son to have a fear of failing publicly? No. I want him to know that it's okay to fail, that failure is a stepping stone towards success. So I'm like, well, if I can't overcome this challenge, how can I help anyone else do it? So I think part of it is an internal drive for me to just be the highest and best version of me.
Oh, that's so good. So it's just like you just want to get better and just be better.
Yeah. And I think entrepreneurship's a great vehicle for it. But I think like you could apply that to sport. Like I think if I was raised in an environment that nurtured sporting achievements or probably not academic, I definitely wouldn't have went down that route. But I think like sport is it's just a great example for overcoming hard challenges in life. And like, when I look at my son, I'm like, okay, well, he's going to be living in Dubai, like with help, with nannies, like with a driver, like it's hard to say that, he's not going to have life tough. He's not going to be walking to work to go work in a factory, is he? Like, of course he's not. So, okay, well, what helps build his resilience, his toughness, his self-confidence, his courage? That has to be sport. And obviously if someone's more academic, you can also learn in that way. But I think sport's another great example of, really testing and challenging yourself. And I love to look at, people who've achieved amazing things in sport, even though I don't watch any sport, but I love, it's a weirdo. From Newcastle, don't drink alcohol, don't watch football. But I love studying like the highest performers in individual sport, like your Kobe Bryant's, like Michael Jordan, and seeing like their dedication to the game, to how they think, and like see when like they come back and when they were down against all odds. And I'm like, well, if they did that and they only had these options, because in business, you have unlimited variables. So you can do a podcast, you can run ads, you can take an investment. You have so many things that you can do to be successful. In sports, it might be like, I need to throw this ball into that hoop. Like you've got way less variables and they still come back against all odds. So I'm like, okay, well, even if shit hits the fan and everything feels like it's really fucked, like robots start taking over the world, like everything goes like wrong, Jordan gets a terrible reputation, all these things, all my staff leave me, someone steals the money from my bank, I still have who I am. And I still know I have the ability to make money.
Ooh.
And that, like, people let go of their financial insecurities through investments and making money. Like, mine didn't come from that. Mine come from being the person, like, who, if stuff went wrong, I know I have the ability to bring value. So if I bring value, I can make money from bringing the value.
I have a question based on that. So if your focus is kind of just like, who am I today and how do I become a better person? And naturally, when you're that kind of person, the goalpost is always moving because every time you achieve something, you know there's bigger. But how do you balance that with happiness? Like, are you happy now? Or are you like, because if you delay happiness to like this arrival point and that point keeps moving, then you'll never be happy.
Okay. This is slightly controversial.
Ooh, I love controversy.
Because this starts to go into a little bit what you were speaking about in terms of the dynamics of relationships as well. As a man, and I'm saying as a man because I am a man, so I'm being very specific about this.
Okay.
I do not optimize for happiness at all. Like, my happiness is not that important to me. Me being fulfilled and doing good shit is important. So I optimize for that, and that makes me more fulfilled. Like, we've had a laugh here. So it's not like, oh, I'm walking around miserable, like stoic, like achievement is everything. Like, that's not me, right? I'll have a laugh, but like, I would much rather be sitting, having an educated, sensible conversation than like with the pub with the lads, like class banter. Like, that just doesn't impress me. I don't go on lads' holidays. I get like invited to parties in Dubai. Like, oh, massive Halloween party, everyone's here. Like, do you want to come? I'm like, I'm not dressing up. Like, I like dressing up and going to listen to like music. Like, nah, like leave me out of that. Like, that's not happiness for me. Like, I was doing webinars over Christmas, and people would be like, that's sad. And my life, most people wouldn't want to have. Like, we just met an entrepreneur you had on the podcast. He's like, I'm not going as hard as this guy, and I don't want to. So I'm not saying that my life most people would want and that someone should inspire to be me, but I think being the best version of you and the version who you want to be is very important. So yeah, I think that I wouldn't optimize for happiness, like seeing Stacey taken care of, like with Ocean and her having help and having a nice house, and like my parents come over for Christmas, Stacey's mum come over, and you know, seeing theirs, like me mum and grandma my granddad passed away this year. Like, my grandma hadn't been to Dubai because he'd been sick for a few years, and you know, she was driving around in like Rolls Royces, G-Wagons, or going on like boats and stuff like that. And it's not just about the money, because I was working during the time when they were doing some things, but for me, like, that's like, I am willing to like, that's not a big sacrifice for me. Like, I think as a man, and yet I'm saying as a man, like, and that's where the 50-50 stuff come into place. If like Stacey said to me, like, you're eating more fruit and you pay more money, like, I would just be like, I just could never see myself in that situation. So it's so far away from reality. It makes me laugh. But I see people who do. Like, I have a friend who optimizes for happiness. He's like, I won't do anything unless it makes me happy. I'm like, well, if I actually lived that life, a life of like happiness and pleasure, like, I think a lot of people go towards like hedonism, where you go towards more like dopamine, sex, sports, football. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be part of like what you do and what you can do. But there's, I personally just don't optimize for that. And I think for men, like, and when I say men, I mean more the masculine, because I have a lot of some of our best team members and some of our best clients are actually females, like smashing it. And I think that like there's a masculine and there's a feminine in both people, but I think the more masculine side wants to achieve, wants to conquer, wants to do good stuff. And I was listening to your video where you were like, I decided in my 20s it was for building. Like, I have no dogs, I have no liabilities, I have everything like that. I was like, this is so funny. Like, everything you mentioned, I have like loads of those. I have like 2 dogs, I've got a kid, I have like loads of stuff going on in the house. I have loads of complexities, but I think that, you know, it's about building what you want and not what like other people expect you to do. And like, why is like, for example, like in Newcastle, it's like everyone goes to the football game. And if like in the UK in general, most domestic violence happens after a football game. So men are going to a football game getting pissed out their heads, then going home and beating up their wives. And that's the British culture. Well done. No, thank you. Like, that's real. Like, that's the reality for most people. And I just think that's pathetic. So I think when I'm a man, I'm like, okay, well, if that's happiness, I don't fucking want that. Like, so my happiness is completely different.
Yeah. So it's just that you've redefined what happiness is for yourself.
And I don't think of it like happiness. Like, because happiness, I think, is like
a temporary emotion.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Where it's more like alignment, fulfillment. That's probably better than like happiness. Because I think when people think happiness, they think like extreme joy and pleasure. And that takes me towards the darker side of me.
Oh, that's so good. You go, Jordan. Anyways, let's talk about AI now. So you've spoken about this AI gold rush. What does that mean? What is that?
Well, every revolution changes things exponentially, right? And like we recently saw it with technology. And if you look at all the most valuable companies in the world, maybe aside from like Aramco and oil companies and stuff like that, but new companies with private ownerships, majority of them are highly tech-enabled or tech companies. NVIDIA, Google, Facebook, like it's all Tesla, like everything's technology, isn't it? Okay, what's the next evolution of technology? It's AI. Everyone knows that. It's not going away. But right now, we're at a very pivotal moment where majority of businesses at a corporate level, JP Morgan, where you used to work, like they're not thinking, what do we do with AI? Should we invest in AI? Like they're all in on AI. So you've got the big corporates who are putting huge budgets. I'm talking like $500 billion a year into AI. But majority of our economy is made up of small to mid-sized businesses who don't have, one, these huge budgets, but also don't have the knowledge, the skills, the understanding how to actually leverage AI, make money from AI, use it within their businesses. That's a really good market because these businesses still have budgets. They're still paying employees, still paying for software products. They're still trying to do advertising, lead generation, stuff like that, but they don't know how to leverage modern technology.
Yeah.
So there's a huge gap within the market. Then on the other side, you've got tech companies that are raising... Oh,
you're good.
I nearly started wearing your mocha. Is that a mocha?
It's matcha.
Matcha. Those are getting very popular, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Everyone's like, oh, they've got really a like slow release of caffeine throughout the day. I'm like, nah, I want like an intense rush now. Like that's far too sensible. So then on the other hand, you've got these big tech companies that are producing agents like Salesforce, $60 billion company, is considering changing their names from Salesforce to Agent Force.
Oh, really?
So you're seeing like agents being developed, and an agent, to put it in very basic terms, is like a digital employee. They do tasks the same as what an employee would do, and they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And not only are you going to have individual agents, you've got agentic agents, so agents that can think way better. But then the step above that is you're going to have networks of agents. So that's going to be like having a team of people. These are just going to radically change how business is done. So most job roles that exist now are not going to exist in 2 to 3 years. So a lot of people are going to be made redundant across the globe. It's going to really hurt a lot of people. And right now, there's a huge opportunity to take advantage of the change that's happening in business by helping these business owners transition to be more digitally enabled. Over the last 4 years, that's what we've done. So 3 years, I basically operated primarily business to business. So sold services to businesses, implemented AI tools, implemented like new marketing services, improved operations. This year, we really started to grow. We invested in building our own software business, which we've ended up building pretty well. I invested basically all of my net worth into that last year. Thankfully, it's starting to pay off now, but like it could not. Is that like, and I'm okay to, it wouldn't be a great day, but I would be okay to lose that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I went kind of all into that. And last year we started helping entrepreneurs, so a lot of people who either had businesses, small businesses who weren't making the money that they wanted to make, or individuals, a lot of corporate professionals. So we actually seen a lot of people from big consultancy businesses want to transition into running their own business, leveraging AI to either scale the knowledge that they've got maybe they're an ex-finance director, sales director, sales manager, use AI to really scale that. Because let's take, for example, sales, right? Most businesses, small businesses, suck at sales. They're really bad. So like, okay, well, what's the problem in sales? Well, it's talent, it's management, it's process, right? So if you can help hire good talent, right? Put in maybe an AI sales development rep, a new client relationship management platform that actually has the ability to communicate and use AI. So you don't need, like when I first started my business, we used to have to hire AI sales development reps, and a lot of them were actually from Joburg, right? From South Africa, because they speak super good English. They don't get as many opportunities as someone from maybe UK or US. We would pay maybe like 2K per month USD. Right now, that's all done through AI. So if we had 3 clients, we would need 1 staff member for $2,000. Now it's $99. So those jobs are gone. Like they're never coming back. And I'm not talking 1 job. Let's just say you've got 9 clients. That's 3 jobs. And that's today. So imagine what it's going to be like in 2-3 years. It's just it's not getting linearly better. It's getting exponentially better. So right now, we're making a lot of money from businesses and entrepreneurs who are setting up their businesses to scale like their own business in AI, helping businesses to navigate this period. And like I said, our core market is small to mid-sized businesses, but some of our clients also work with large corporations and stuff like that as well. Actually, one of our best case studies is South African, and he was operating within the African markets. He got up to about 50K per month. And he come over to see me in Dubai, and he was like, what do I need to do? I was like, you just need to target the US. He's like, can't target the US, I'm from South Africa. I was like, fuck that limiting belief. And like it's this whole borders thing, right? Oh, because I'm like, and my parents are like, we're just from Newcastle, we can't do that. I'm like, fuck that, you can do whatever you want. So he ended up targeting the US, doing exactly what he was doing in Africa, went from 50K to 200K in like 4 months, a month. Yeah. Like, so he 4x'd the business just by being like, oh, let me target people who have, companies that have a higher spending power, which is a larger market. And this is a great thing about technology. It actually completely eliminates borders.
It does.
So like some of our best clients are like, there's 2 kids from India, right? Hate doing sales calls because really like thick Indian accents. So like no one wants to buy from us. They set up a system where they do no sales calls and made over 100K per month. So it's like, I think what people think AI, I need to be technical. Like I'm not a technical person at all. But you've got to understand the power of the most important technology that's in our generation. Like you're seeing all of the billionaires, all of the $1 billion companies, Mark Cuban being like, if I was a kid and he made most of his money, when businesses went from using fax machines and papers to using computers. And he's saying like, I would be all in on AI. So this isn't like a nice trend of like, or let's like, build a personal brand. I know crypto is not a trend, but like, look how much money crypto has generated. Like Bitcoin's entire network value is like 2.2 billion, right? AI is generating about 2.4 to 4.4 billion every year. And that's just now. So the entire network value, AI is doing that every year. And like, we're just at the start of it. And it's hard to put those like facts and figures in your mind. But if you think of a business, right? Let's just say a business is doing 12 million a year, right? So we're keeping things like really simple for the math, right? Okay, well, they're making $1 million a month. Okay, most businesses, let's say decent businesses, are 20% net profit margin, right? They have $800,000 a month in costs, right? Do you not think the business owner, who, by the way, set up a for-profit business to make profits for himself or herself, wants to either save money or make more money? Yes. Is AI a vehicle, the best vehicle that can help someone do that? Yes. So it's like, I like to play a game where even if I'm shit, the odds of me succeeding are pretty high. And that's why when I left the corporate business, I didn't see it as a risk. Because I was like, you know what it is? Like, if I just sign one client, I signed my first client for like, I think 15K GBP up front and 5K per month. So I was like, oh, well, that actually significantly is, if you look at that in a 3-month period, that's 10K per month. That replaced my salary. Then if I sign one more client, that's almost doubling my salary. So it's like having a consulting gig or delivering services to a business is as easy, if not easier, than having a full-time job. But people just can't bridge that gap, especially like without help and support and mentoring, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And I see this with especially new entrepreneurs. I think once you're in the entrepreneurial game a while, you just realize to get to where you want to go, there's going to be so many bumps along the way. It's not smooth. But people who've not done it before, they experience a little bump and they think, oh, it's all fucked, like we can't do it, and then they spiral. And it's just like, it's actually like, and I spoke to a lot of people, I just like want a well-oiled machine as a business. I was just like, no business is that. Like Facebook goes down, Facebook has problems. I think Mark Zuckerberg's waking up every morning not having like messages on his phone in terms of what's went wrong. Like all of the biggest businesses in the world are getting sued all of the time.
True.
So yeah, I think you have to recognize if you want to achieve great things, there's going to be a level of resistance along the way.
That's so good. I think that most of us don't really understand AI past like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Perplexity. So in this case of like the Indian boys that you mentioned, like what exactly like would they have done that would make that difference?
Okay, this is actually great. Because I think this is where people like think about it incorrectly too, is people think about the tool rather than the problem. So as business owners, you spend on solving problems. You don't spend on mechanisms. So you're like, okay, well, I need something digital that'll track. I can move from place to place. Okay, that's a laptop, right? But like a laptop solves a problem, even though it's a product, right? When you're thinking about business owners, right, there's normally 3 core things within the business, a small to mid-sized business: sales, marketing, and operations, right? One of these 3 things. Most business owners are bottlenecked because of one of those 3 things. So they're either not getting enough leads, right? They've either got enough leads and those leads aren't converting into cash in the bank, or they've got too much leads, too many sales, which is very, very rare. This is very rare. If you're like that, you've got a very rare business. But if you have those, then normally your operations isn't optimized, so you can't put in more leads and more sales. So like it really falls into those 3 categories. And when you're speaking to a business owner, if you're like, okay, where are you now? And like, okay, well, I'm at $1 million a year. And where would you like to be? I'd like to be $3 million a year. Because most business owners have financial goals and targets. And most, during a sensible conversation, will tell you those goals and targets. So, okay, well, I want to be at 3 million. Well, what's stopping you being at 3 million now? Or what are your initiatives to help you get to that 3 million? What are your problems? Do you have enough leads? So you just start having these conversations and they'll be like, oh, well, you know what it is? We've tried email marketing before, but it hasn't really worked because we worked with an agency, or we've tried to be doing ads, but our Facebook account keeps getting banned. So like these business owners are trying shit, right? They're not just like, oh, we haven't tried anything. They've normally done something, it hasn't worked, or they're trying something. They've got a focus and they've got a vision. So you just got to figure out where they are now, where they want to get to, what is that gap, and what is the one thing, or what are the 1 or 2 things? I like one thing to keep it simple, right? My simple mind, I like one thing. What's the one thing that I could do that could help them to get to where they want to get to? And then I sell them the solution and help get AI to help me deliver it. It's as simple as that. And that's what we did over the last 3 years. And, you know, some of those solutions can be slightly custom. We ended up systematizing ours. And the reason we built our own technology, because we were like, okay, well, we've done it so many times now. We have thousands of clients. We actually understand what people need. And we've built it into a little system. We're using some third parties. Let's just build our own, right? But, you know, long story short, it normally comes down to getting more cash into the business, growing the business, or making things more efficient. And we sell solutions and allow the tools to deliver those solutions. It's literally as simple as that. And the reality is, if you look at Salesforce, if you look at HubSpot, if you look at some of the biggest software systems in the world, Microsoft's another great example. They don't have a lot of direct sales teams. They'll have a lot of partners as well.
Yeah.
So Salesforce grew through partners. So there's individual businesses that will go in, help implement Salesforce, because you can have a great system like Salesforce, but if you don't know how to implement it, you don't know how to use it, it's just an expensive system that's sitting there and bringing no value. So someone's not buying Salesforce, they're buying an integrated CRM so they can manage customers, so they can manage prospects, so they can manage billing. So you've got to start with the problem, figure out what solution can work, and businesses want to buy done for you services. Yet again, this is the big gap that everyone misses. It's like when you're a business owner, you're fairly busy. Yes, right? Okay, well, yes, I'm going to buy courses, I'm going to go buy content, I'm going to buy things that I can do myself. But there becomes a stage where you're like, I actually can't do everything myself. I just need someone to do something for me.
Yeah.
Video editing, something like that. Okay, I'll review it, but I'm not going to edit it because it'll take me 1 hour instead of 10 hours. So they're looking for people to come in and take that weight off their shoulders. So for example, this is a great one actually.
Okay.
Every CEO right now understands that they should have a personal brand. Most CEOs who you speak to are not like, I don't want a personal brands suck. Most now understand the leverage of personal branding. Most CEOs don't want to sit in front of camera. They don't want to write LinkedIn posts. They definitely don't want to post on Instagram. They don't want to do this shit. They want to build their business. So if you can come in and help them to automate and systematize their content calendar, their posting, and you can use AI tools to simply do that now, that's a big win. And you're solving an expensive problem with a very cheap tool. So the margin is insane. You can charge $3,000 a month for that, and it'll cost you $100 a month to deliver. Oof. So the margin is just, it's crazy.
You're like a beast on social media. Like you post, is it every day?
Yeah.
How much of what we see is like supported by AI?
Most. All of our winning ads now are AI, and then I have a team that does posting. So like I very, very rare, like I don't think about Instagram at all. Like it's like 0.01% of my like mind, which is great because I can actually focus on the business.
Exactly. But do you have like a portion of the month or the week where you I don't know, give them the content or whatever,
Not really, no.
or it's just
no.
That's
Not
sick.
at all. Yeah, I don't even have meetings. Like we have a great team who runs Instagram. Like the guy's a friend of mine. I've known him for years. His team run it. If like he wants me to do some talking heads, I haven't done them. I'll do them soon. But yeah, it's just fully managed because and this is the thing. Like most entrepreneurs, they have so much going on. They can't focus on like the main thing. So like I just really like focus on it. But like if it was like, okay, because organic content is less than 10% of our revenue, and it's pretty well looked after. So it's like me focusing on that, like let's say it increases it by 50%. Okay, it might grow from 5% to 7% of the revenue. But all the other stuff that I could focus on could take the revenue from 60 million to 120 million, which like adds so much in terms of enterprise value and everything like that. So I think as a business owner, you really have to be very conscious of where you're putting your time and money into. And as a business owner, like you can make more money, you can't make more time.
So true. What's the secret behind like your aggressive growth, like 0 to 6 million monthly? What's the secret?
Leverage. Like ads is really like new client acquisition, being good at bringing new clients in and making them happy. I know that sounds super basic, but it is like doing the fundamentals well. So for example, if you spend $100 on Facebook and bring $300 back, imagine if there was a slot machine here where every time you put $1 in, you got $3 back, you'd keep putting the dollars in, wouldn't you? Most people get scared to do that because, you know, I was mentioning before, we spend about $60,000 a day on Facebook. $60,000 is still a lot of money for me. And we're spending that a day, right? So most people just don't have the courage to do that, right? And then the courage to do that when it's challenging and things are going bad and returns are not coming in quick enough. So most people just do not have the courage to do it, and a lot lack the skill set and the insights as well. So I think it's like part of its mindset, and then the other part is like actually doing it and ability, because, you know, the difference between playing football and being Cristiano Ronaldo is very different. So people are like to me, oh, well, you know, Jordan, you know, how would you do that? I'm like, well, how I would do something at $60 million a year is not what I would do if I was making like 100K per month. Yeah. It's very different. So I think growing a business and scaling a business is very, very different. And I think it requires a different level of you, a different skill set, a completely, I don't want to say advanced mindset, but a much more resilient mind. And the quality of life when I was at $500,000 a month compared to 5-6 million a month, I had a much higher quality of life there because I've had to grow so much as a business owner during this time. And the processes, the systems, the team, the management that worked at that level just doesn't work at this level anymore. So I think it's like mindset, courage, and then the ability as well. And one of the great things about scaling a business, and I think just business in general, even creating content, it forces you to look at your weaknesses. Because if you don't do entrepreneurship, you can just go through life and you've got no real challenges, right? Let's just say you stay in a like cushy job. I like to call it the warm shit, right? So it's like, it's warm, but it's shit. But it's nice and warm, right? So most people just stay in there. So they never actually know like what they're made of, but also they don't actually know where their flaws are. Because imagine if you'd never done content before.
True.
I would bet your communication is 5 times better than when you first started content, because you just have to get better at communicating. It forces you, well, if I want to do this, I need to be able to do this and this to get there. So I think entrepreneurship is a great, like it's like it magnifies the areas where you're just not good enough yet. But most people see that as like, oh, I'm just bad at sales. I don't understand technology. Like, so, whereas, okay, well, I don't understand AI yet. I don't understand sales yet. I don't understand content creation yet. But everything's in my control. And within 10, 20 hours of trying something with a bit of effort, you will get pretty decent at most things.
So good. Okay. One final question before we move on to the final section. How has like being a father changed how you see maybe money, entrepreneurship, risk, investing? Yeah.
It definitely changed how I think. And then that cascades down to the rest, I think. When Ocean was born, there was a lot going on within the business. And I think having meaningful things in your life, like a son, like a wife, like a business, like good friendships, it allows you to focus on what's actually meaningful way more and just forget the bullshit. I see in a lot of people's lives, and including myself in the past, I've cared about things which is fucking irrelevant. Like, I hate going shopping. Like, I hate going to a shopping mall. I hate luxury shops. I just fucking hate the whole experience because it just feels like bullshit. It's like, I don't care what color it is. Like, I just care if it like fits and I don't look like a moron, right? I actually just really dislike it because it feels like just a waste of time. It feels just like it's gone. It's a lost, it's gone, it's shit. And I think that having a son made me just want to do things that are more meaningful. And the things that are meaningful to me at this stage, yes, it's being a good dad, it's being a good husband, but it is working on meaningful things. A lot of people become a parent and think that they like need to have more. Like, I just definitely, that wasn't me. I don't feel like I need more security for him. Like I said, I think he's going to have too much. Like, everyone's like, what can I get Ocean? I'm like, nothing. Like, I don't want him to be an entitled little brat. So like, like he's going to know that, like, just because, I was fortunate enough to build a business and had some good luck along the way, like, this isn't his success. He's going to enjoy part of the life, but he needs to build his own. It's like, I don't think about, of course we put like savings away and stuff set up like that. But I don't see it as like, I see it as, I actually say that as a nice to have, not a have to have. And that might be because it's a son. I might feel very, very different with a daughter.
True.
Like, I think I probably would feel different if it was a daughter because I don't feel the same about my wife. Like, I would want my wife like fully looked after, but my son, I want him to go through hardship because I believe hardship is necessary to build a good man. I don't know any good men who haven't been through challenging times.
Yeah, men should go to war.
Yeah, we're great. And that war isn't like physical anymore, but you should do something. Like, you should figure out like what you're made of. And I'm, like I said, there's some ladies on my team who are better at entrepreneurship than like most men, more logical, more aggressive and bigger killers. And I don't look at like, that's a woman, that's a man. It makes no difference to me. Like, if you're a killer in what you do, then you definitely see it in like the like career ladies in the financial sector and stuff like that. Like, they can be like dangerous, like amazing, because a lot of ladies have just much higher EQ, right? So when you put that EQ with like IQ and dedication, the real force to be reckoned with, and especially the diligence and organization that a lot of ladies have can be very important within business, especially if that's that's you know, if you position yourself in the right place. So yeah, I think that could change, but I think it just let go a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of maturing, isn't it? Like the things that you used to care about when you were younger, you just like don't care about that anymore. You know, when you meet like old people who just like, they just don't give a shit at all, like about anything. They'll offend anyone.
Say anything.
They don't care like at all. Like I think there's something so freeing about that. And I think that's like, you know, when you said like optimize for happiness, I think like mine's not happiness. It's more like optimizing for just being like the realist version of who I am and not putting on like, oh, I'm holding me water bottle like this because there's a camera there. Like, who cares? Like, I think that we get really obsessed with what like everyone else like thinks of us and our perception and stuff like that. And I think the more you can actually just focus on like what's meaningful to you. And there's like when it meaningfulness doesn't have to just like, if you love movies or you love like reading or types of novels or like whatever you love, like if that's what you deem to be meaningful, like go for it. Like there's no one to tell you otherwise. But I do think most of us live a life that's just not meaningful at all. And I think that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Like I think, and like you were raised in the UK, I was raised in the UK, and I was speaking to my grandma over the Christmas. She was like, when she had just had children, she was able to leave our house door open, leave my dad like in the yard, and like when he was a baby, and her mum would come round, pick me dad up, go to the shops, leave the kids outside of the shops like as babies, and it was super safe like Dubai is today. Imagine doing that in the UK now. You'd think someone was smoking crack, wouldn't you? If grandma left like a kid just outside the shop, you'd be like, are you all right? Like someone's going to like take the kid. Like, and I think that we've lost, unfortunately, in the UK, a lot of things that are meaningful and family values because people have been chasing this like happiness. Look at London on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. It's just people out drinking and taking loads of cocaine. Isn't it? That's all that happens. Like it's just full of people off their heads on cocaine.
Yeah.
Like there's an epidemic that like people aren't living meaningful lives. There's no family culture. There's no respect for their parents, right? A lot of people are not having like families. Then like, and I'm not saying you have to have a family. Like I do think you should have respect for your parents. I do think that is the case. I do think more people would be happy if they had families for sure, but I don't think you should do it if you're a mess yourself. But I think it's because people optimize for like happiness because they've seen things on TV and Instagram. Well, this person's living like this, right? And they think that they're entitled to that. But okay, well, and I think like Jake Paul is actually a great example of someone that's aged very well. So like, he's a creator, he's a business person, he's an investor, right? He's achieved more than what most people will ever achieve in a lifetime. But if you were to maybe look at him from an immature mindset, you might just see it as someone who's dossing, who's just like taking the piss, messing around. You wouldn't see all these other elements to him that actually makes him super rich, like very famous, like for a lot of the good things that he's done. So I think a lot of the like, and this like the rap music as well, like that's killing kids, man. Like
yeah, man.
It just programs you to think so
trash
poorly, and like London is just like in the UK, unfortunately, it's and most people do become a product of the environment. Like, you know, you have and I have and a lot of other people have, you know, changed their environment and the environment has got better. But when I went home for my like granddad's funeral, I bumped into a really close friend of mine, and he was wearing a really nice ankle bracelet. He was like, "Oh yeah, just in a stretch." And you know, before he went to prison, he'd had a kid. He was like, you know, my wife was coming to visit. His fiance was coming to visit him in prison with his like daughter. So I couldn't even touch them. He was like, I just felt like a scumbag. And you know, there's a lot of stories like that where, you know, I look at that and I'm like, that could have easily been my life. Like it could have easily been. So I think that, you know, I do think of like when you have a public profile, when you do have money, when you do lead a business, like if I was going out drinking now, I would feel like I'm not being responsible because like, and I'm like, people aren't looking up to me like I'm, Muhammad Ali or anything like that. But I think with a public profile, and I don't want to try to ever pretend that I'm a perfect person, so I'm absolutely not. But I do think that building something of value and being something of value, just most people just aren't doing that now. People are like, kids are expecting like something for nothing.
So true. Before we get into the rest of the episode, I just wanted to let you know that we've opened Dubai's only workspace and podcast studio under one roof. We have this set or this set for you to customize and choose from. You can work from here or here or here, or host your event here or here. Welcome to the PEN by Marina Pearl. Book using the link in the description box. So we're going to be moving on to the Wealth Boy segment of the podcast, which is where we're reading out a dilemma and we'd love to get your opinion on this. So I picked this one especially out for you.
I hope it's easy.
No,
if I look bad on this, just cut it, right? Just bleep.
Okay. My husband and I both work full-time and contribute equally to our household expenses, including food, shopping, etc. But he eats far more than me, both in terms of portion size when we cook together and by having breakfast at home when I don't, as well as eating sides with meals and snacks in between. Should I ask him to contribute more to the household budget, given how food prices have increased? It's becoming a growing part of our expenses.
This is a trick question for me. It depends what you want out of a relationship and how significantly important that money is to you. For me, in all of my relationships, especially my romantic one with my wife, like, I just want to provide the most I possibly can so she doesn't have to think about it. But I also have the relationship with my business partner. When we become business partners, I just wanted him to get rich because I knew by default, if he gets rich and I'm his business partner, I'm getting rich. So I think that it's always best to be honest within a relationship. If that's what you want to say, then say it, but be okay with the response that's going to come from your partner. Because if you start putting expectations on someone else, they can start putting expectations on you. So I think just have the open conversation. It's not that deep.
That's good. That's good. I did not think you were going to say that, actually. The reason I picked this one for you, because I know you on social media, you're very much like, I pay for all my wife's bills, no 50-50.
She wants that though. Like when I met her, she made that like very clear. Like our first date, she was like, if you don't want to get married and have kids, like we won't see each other again. She was very direct about what she wanted. And I was like, wow, like this is not normal because in the UK, that's not really how we do things. And Stacey was born and raised in Kenya and she was new to the UK and she kind of put that ultimatum on me from the start. And I was ready for that. I was like, man, this is like, it drawn me into the relationship. But yeah, I think in terms of when I met Stacey, I was working a 9-to-5 job. So I actually didn't have the ability to provide to the level that I wanted to do. So meeting Stacey actually was the main catalyst for me setting up my business.
So it wasn't that you were a guy necessarily that wanted to. I mean, you probably. I think all guys, like deep down, hopefully, is nice guys like generally want to provide. But you would have been okay. So if she was like a career woman who like was like, I want to split 50-50, would you have been okay with that as well? Yeah,
I think so. But I think 50-50 is probably where people get a bit like crazy with, like, you know, like it's just kind of weird. Like if you took your friends to like a Nando's, you hadn't seen your friend for a while, like would you pay for the bill? Like, yeah, of course you would. Like if you're getting drinks at the bar, are you paying for the drinks? Yeah. So I think if you're in a relationship and you're expecting like a contribution of 50-50 around money, it just probably shows how insecure you are about money. But if like when I met Stacey, she was modeling. Like she was like, I want to be a top model like I am. She was career driven, not from a business side, but a modeling side. And then as we got into the relationship, she was actually just like, you know what it is? Like, I like modeling. It's been an amazing part of my life, but I actually just want to be a mom and have a family. So I was like, okay, like it's great. And I think we all develop and change. So I think that if you decide to be with someone, you have to give them the ability to be who they want to be. And if it's pursuing content creation, if it's pursuing a career, investments, learning. And then like when we come to Dubai, Stacey actually stopped modeling because the modeling scene in Dubai is like not like Europe.
Not the same, yeah.
And she was like, I want to set up a business. I was like, cool. I helped her set up a business. She set up a business and she was like, you know what it is? I don't want to run this business anymore. I was like, cool, no problem. Like, you don't have to run the business anymore. So I think we just give each other not just the right to be wrong, but the right to do whatever we want.
If you were in a 50-50 relationship and then someone said to you, well, you eat a lot more, so you should pay more for food, what would your
I just laugh like, yeah, okay. Like, you used too much water yesterday. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it does get a bit into I think you're setting a precedence for stuff that is like, it's too nitpicky. Yeah. It's like you actually calculate, oh my God, you had this.
Yeah. Like, I get it if someone's like, okay, well, if you're in a 50-50 relationship and someone's like, okay, I want to buy this expensive car that's going to like completely change our financial future. And you're like, you know what it is? Like, I don't want to do that. If you want to do that on your own, that's cool. I'm going to put my money into savings. I think that's fair. But yeah, I think the whole 50-50 stuff just makes people crazy.
True.
I just avoid that.
Agreed.
But I would avoid all expectations as well. Like, I think you have to be clear about who you are, what you want out of the relationship. But I think the more you put onto someone else, the just more you're going to make each other unhappy.
Yeah. It's not the best breeding ground for like a healthy relationship when you're nitpicking like that. Agreed. Okay, let's move on to the quick fire money questions. 3 questions. Give me the first thing that comes to your mind. So the first one is, what is the best investment you've ever made?
Self. In myself.
Oh, yourself. Oh, you're not allowed to say that, actually.
Oh.
I've been told.
Can I say people or not?
Sure.
Yeah, staff members.
Staff members.
Oh, yeah. So we hired a guy called Blaze, who was initially a virtual assistant for like $1,500 a month. He now has a tech team of like 20 developers below him, some of them with 27 years of experience. Last 4 years, he's basically single-handedly built all of the technology within our business. Like, team, like the highest return on investment, in my opinion, is still people. If you're playing the entrepreneurship role, is like people, talent, good talent. And it's not just like someone who's a potato. That's not what I'm saying. It's high quality people. By far the biggest investment. Like, my 3 top team members bring more value to the business than the other 240.
Oof. All right. What is the biggest money mistake you've made?
Not auditing. So,
as in like financial auditing?
No, in business auditing. So like once the business starts to grow, and by the way, I put like 100K into some like altcoins the other day, which like all went down. So like, but I might have lost like 60, 70K on that. That in comparison to making a mistake in business is tiny. Like, it's really small. So like, it's, as a business grows, you move away from the front line. You have to grow, you have to release some power.
Yeah.
But during that period as well, like, you need to stay responsible for the success. You can't outsource the success. You can outsource the tasks, but you can't outsource the success. So by not auditing specific things in the business, I've lost a lot of money from that.
Ooh,
like,
that's good.
Like millions, not like tens of thousands, like millions from that. Yeah, auditing is by far the biggest.
That's good. And what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone who is trying to build wealth?
Start. Most people just don't start.
Yeah.
Start and stick at it. Like, there's not actually that much barriers. Wealth and making money is different. I know like you're focused on wealth, which I think is great. Like, I would say I have like the delta between my ability to make money and build wealth is so different. Like, I am way better at making money because I was like, okay, I'm just going to figure out how to make a lot of money, sell a business, then focus on wealth.
But that's step one though. Making money is like you can't build wealth if you've got nothing to transfer into wealth, right? Yeah. That's why we have people like you come in, because we need to make the money first.
Start cash flow. Yeah. And I think like start a cash flow business. Because if you have cash flow, then you have margin, then you have the ability to get things like wrong and right. So I think like just start. Most people won't start something. Like just start and just stick at it. Like, are you going to make mistakes? Are you going to get things wrong? Yes. And I also think like don't put money in that you can't lose. Like that's very important, because it'll like mess with your head. You see a lot of people. My business partner, Jacob, he was saying like when he was young, he was trying to like trade and do this, and he like lost money. It would drive him mad. So it's like, if you don't have the money to lose, I don't think like there's a lot of people who are like really good at investing who still lose money. So I think, you know, make money, use the money that's a surplus to then try to multiply it and do it based on like what you're good at as well. I think like if you try to play my game or I try to play your game, we're just probably not playing the game that's like best for our personality. So I think you've got to understand where you're good and what your temperament is as well. Because like with investments, like at a really high level, temperament is super important.
Yeah.
So if you're like emotionally unstable and you see that graph going down, you're not going to make a logical decision, especially if that money is going towards food or your kids or rent or something. So I think that for me, it's like start making cash flow, put that cash flow into good and better stuff. Like I decided to invest more in myself in terms of my businesses rather than like in comparison to how much I've invested into my businesses, in comparison to how much I've invested into other people's businesses and assets and diversification. Yet again, I'm super highly leveraged in my own business. So I can't sit here and be like, I'll give you the best investment advice on diversifying portfolios. Like I cannot do that. And I just try to speak about the things that I know.
Yeah.
But making money and having that like capital to be able to deploy, like you said, is a good step one.
Love it. Thank you so much. This was so good. Where can they find you or your businesses, etc.?
Instagram is probably the best. Jordan Lee __. People keep trying to sell me the handle without the __. I haven't bought it yet. I don't know. I feel like it's just a waste of money. I'm like, people can still find me. Like, why do I need to buy this? But I do some free webinars and we put out some content on there. That's probably like the best place and you can find a lot of things from there.
And we've already had a testimonial today about how good those webinars are.
Yeah.
So
Surprise testimonial.
Yeah. It was the last guest, which you guys may see before or after this. Toby, he was like, I thought you guys knew each other, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much. That was so good.
Thank you.